Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next chapter of Let's Build a Story. We are moving on to a brand new family who you see laughing and joking around us now. I'm going to pause it and make our introductions, guys. This is probably one of my favorite families in this save file, so buckle up. Very first up, we have the patriarch of the family. His name is Darrin. If you are not from Willow Creek, if you are not from Willow Creek, you would probably pronounce his last name as Richard, but because we know that they are from Willow Creek, their name is actually Richard. Ooh, sorry, I just had to take a minute to pause. So we have Darrin here. Darrin is a young adult sim. He is a young man that knows exactly what he wants. He's an incredibly smart gentleman. Like I said, he is a young adult. I imagine his age now to be around 32-ish. Darrin is an interesting sim. He is self-assured. He is creative. He is also unflirty. Darrin wants a family, absolutely has wanted a family his entire life, but isn't really interested in the whole love at first sight thing. He doesn't even know if he believes in that. Darrin is, I wouldn't call him a cynic. I think he would refer to himself as a realist. Darrin grew up in the foster care system. A lot of children find their families in very beautiful ways there. That just never happened for Darrin. He bounced from foster home to foster home. Some foster homes were better than others. Some foster homes were really great and nurturing. Others just weren't. And that's really affected Darrin and his ability to trust. It's also affected Darrin's life goals, which I love. He can't deny that a very big part of him has a hole in it that he feels is attributed to not having a family come and claim him. However, a part of him is grateful for it too, because it never would have inspired him to become an adoptive father. So he pushed himself really hard to go to university. He graduated with a web design degree, and that's what he does. He's a freelance web designer. He gets to use his creativity. Most importantly, he gets to work from home because he knew that whether or not he found Mrs. Right, he was going to make a loving, supportive home for kids like he was. Next up that I will introduce you to is Miss Luz Richard. Luz is Darrin's very first adoptive daughter. He started out as a foster parent for her. That's how all of his kids came to be in his home. He is a foster to adopt household. He is only interested in what would be Sims equivalent to state adoption. He does not pursue private adoption because he knows that most of those kids start out as babies and they will have homes, that there is a deficit in the amount of babies being placed versus families that want those babies. So this is how Luz came into his life. I imagine Luz came in as a toddler. She is a very sweet, very special little girl who loves her dad so much and really benefits from the stability that he supplies her. Next up is this funny young gentleman. This is Malik Richard. Malik is actually Luz's half-brother. Luz is Salvadoran Samarican, whereas Miguel is African American. Or at least that's half his lineage, just like Luz's half of her lineage is Salvadoran Samarican. Both of these kids have great personalities. Miguel is a goofball who maybe uses his humor to hide some of his insecurities, but overall he's a really good kid. He's just a couple of years younger than Luz and was the second child that Darrin adopted. The last young mister who is talking to this dog is also a sibling of the older two, is a half sibling of the older two. So this is Darrin Richard. Darrin is the newest addition to the family. He is adjusting to his new placement. Right now, he's a very clingy toddler, which is understandable. As you can see, Darrin is very Caucasian. Not that it matters much, but for those that are wondering, I would imagine that the kid's mom is also Caucasian. The very last member of this family that I have to introduce you to is one that I am very, very excited about. This good old boy right here is currently named Dog. I would actually like you guys to name him down in the comments. Dog, currently his name, insert name here, is actually Luz's dog. Well, this dog is actually a family dog, but was bought for Luz. Luz struggles with a little bit, I think, of anxiety, some sim pleasing, and Darrin, because he spends all of his time with his children, even if he didn't, a parent knows, right? A dad knows. This dog is here so that Luz can have somebody that just understands her, somebody that she doesn't have to justify herself to or sim please, who is just thrilled to have her in the room and that she doesn't have to put up walls or masks around. Dog is very in tune to lose to all the family members. He's a great family dog. He's a little bit of a troublemaker, but that's okay. Him being a full-time job is a great opportunity for Luz and the other kids to learn responsibilities, how to train a pet. He is super sweet, super playful, very loyal. I don't know if you can see, but it's spring snowing here, so it's a little bit cold outside. Let's get these guys into their house. I will see you in build mode. Before we get too far into it, if you are new to the channel, hello, my name is Erin. I play The Sims. You're watching the next chapter of Let's Build a Story, a save file where I go house by house, lot by lot, family by family, and show you my reimagined version of The Sims 4. If this is something that interests you, hit that like button if you want to see more and you want to make sure that you are notified every time I upload a new series, which happens generally about once a week. Then hit that subscribe button. I'm getting very close to 2,000 subscribers, so it would mean the world if you guys would join me on that journey. Please comment any thoughts that you have down below. I love reading them. I respond to them fairly quickly, so it's awesome to be able to build and create this with you. So let's get on to the build. All right, so for those that don't know, on this side is my other monitor, and I have screenshots and reference images up there. So I've already done the floor plan for this so that I am not just babbling on and humming and hawing. So I know that this has to be 16 tiles long. Go down to about here. That should be good. I'm then going to be sort of doing a cute little bump out moment. I don't remember if that is 1 wide or 2 wide. It looks like it's 1 wide on my reference image. I'm going to bring this up 2 because we're going to have a beautiful little front porch moment. And then I'm going to need something that is 5 tiles wide. Perfect. We've got a box that looks something like this. Let's put on, let's see, I think I want 2 up. I'm going to add a foundation. I think we might as well go 3. Perfect. Because we are in Willow Creek. It is fashioned after New Orleans, Louisiana. So there's a very specific style that we'll be going for. Probably would have started out as one of those typical shotgun or Creole cottage style houses, but has had to be adapted and adjusted over time because Darrin just needs more space. I can't wait to get into more of his story with you. I think perhaps I may even just wall this off for now because, oh, not you, thank you. Yes, let's give you back. I'm gonna wall this off. This is going to be a covered porch, and you are going to be a stoop down into the side porch or into the side yard. This is going to be a very kid-centered lot. This is going to be a lot that is all about those kids that Darrin is so excited for. I don't know about you guys, but I really do feel like The Sims 4 needs more single parents, and not single parents that are remarried. I mean single parents that are just single parents, and happy about it, maybe even. I don't know if maybe this is you guys' experience, but it's my experience that not only are my parents divorced, but there are quite a number of my friends growing up who had divorced parents, and it's just very weird to not have single parents in a life simulation game to me. So I'm putting them in. I'm seeing a flaw with my plan. Thank goodness that it is much easier in The Sims to make adjustment than it is in real life. So much cheaper too. You get money back when you knock walls down instead of being charged money for the privilege of having someone do that. So let's see. We're going to get you over and you're going to go over. Lovely. Okay, perfect. We've got our basic shape, which I am thrilled about. I'm actually not sure which wall height. Oh my goodness. How did I think I was going to build without move objects on? Love that cheat. Okay, so, this was a 2 tile wide. Pardon me. Okay, I think my proportions are right, but I reserve the right to change them at any minute. So I'm not sure which wall height I used, but these windows should tell me. Okay, so I used the small wall height. It's not actually very typical for shotgun style houses or Creole cottages, which is the style that would have been more prevalent in especially this area of town. But to be honest, I think that tall wall heights, are annoying to build with and around. So if there's a storied reason for them, then that's great. Maybe Darrin saved a little bit of money on the renovations, making this work for his family by not having so much extra space. I don't think that he had this custom built, so maybe we should scratch that. But this was definitely a house that probably was on the more dilapidated side when he bought it. I'm sure that the original family back in 18 whatever that built this probably saved some money, some simoleons, by not having so much, in the vertical for their house. So Darrin he's worked with what he's had. So let's take a look. Let's put some roof on, please. Let's get this roof on here. Now that I've got my windows on, I've got my references. Please don't worry. I know this looks terrifying, but it's not staying this height. We need this gabled roof here. So we've got two gables that are making the shape of this house. I shall move you back, please. Actually, no, I won't. One of my favorite building tricks is, you see when you move this back, how you now have a problem? If you will move this so that it's pretty much not intersecting anymore, you hold the shift key down and you move just one side, it will reduce the hangover on that, or the eave length on that. I am going to copy this because it's the right length-ish. Place it, and then I don't have to do shift because I want both of these sides. I want both of these sides to go in. So I'm just going to grab it and pull up. And then now this is completely pulled back the way that it should be, but it's not sticking out the side of the house because real houses don't have that problem. So all happy, all good there. Now I'm going to need this half gabled roof. Gonna pop her on, pull her down to meet the roof line, and then pull her over. I think, yes, that's what we'll do. We'll pull these eaves in so that I can pull this eave in, and then it still looks nice. This is far too much. So for those that are wondering, this little house back here, or like this is the back of this house here, that's really what I went for to inspire this build. That was my original reference. I'm gonna pull this down just so that it doesn't look so gosh darn weird. And we're gonna look at the front. Yeah, I like that. I like that quite a bit. This can also come down, maybe up one more. Yes, I like that. And then you can come down to match. Perfect. Lovely. Oh, love that. Okay, exactly what I want. Next, we're going to take a hipped roof, and we're going to cover this extra sticky outy room back here and the porch, what will be the covered porch. We're going to move this down so that it looks reasonable. That doesn't look terrible, but I wonder if I could move it down a little bit more. Yeah, I like it. Okay, great. So we've got good bones on the house right now. Now let's put on the trimmings. New Orleans is famous for those little Creole cottages with all the really funny color palettes. There are plenty, absolutely plenty of houses that have very, what we would call typical or like normal. I don't know what normal means anymore. Color palettes, like a lot of beiges, or like they pick one color and then everything else is sort of white. Okay, perfect. We're looking good over here. I like it. I almost wonder if I couldn't go with this cats and dogs roof. I think that would be some interesting detailing. Yeah, maybe along the roof pieces here. Just, something little shingled, something or other. Yes, I like those scallops. Okay, perfect. So let's take a look at some roof trim. I want a nice red, but like I said, there are plenty of normal color palettes But I think it's really fun to indulge our creative side, especially when we have a world that is modeled after something that just makes so much sense to do it in. So would I normally go for a dark blue siding with bright white and red detailing? No, I wouldn't. But it fits the logic of this house and where it's placed in Willow Creek. It just makes sense. So why fight it? Let's have fun and do it. We're also going to be doing stone stoops, or like stone foundations, I think is the more correct way to say this. That's really big in New Orleans. For those that do not know, New Orleans is prone to flooding. I think I actually have one more step up, so I'm going to adjust my foundation height. One more pull, hopefully. Yes, okay, awesome. It will allow it off of the side here. Now you, what do we do for you? It's not a perfect match, but it's pretty darn close. I can't get this detailing here. I would love to have that on the side of the house. Perhaps I could even do like some brick, because that's pretty common in New Orleans. New Orleans, which is what Willow Creek is based off of, is, as we all know, prone to floods. So the idea that your house wouldn't be up on stilts or wouldn't be up on a foundation is kind of silly. And that stone needs to be very sturdy. If it's made of wood, it's going to get rotten very, very quickly with all the moisture. Out on the porch here, we will do some wood. I want it to look a little bit more weathered, and you can't see it, but I also want it on this one. Only I know that it's there at this point, but that's okay. That makes me happy. It's totally fine. We'll move to the inside eventually, but we're going to be focusing on the outside today. All right, lovely. I'm loving her so much. Going to bring out this base game column. It fits so well with the theme of Willow Creek. We're going to get in some nice red columns, and we're going to put in some banisters, bring in those pops of white, help the red to stand out a little bit. I also love spandrels. I always struggle for which one to use, but I think that this is a good one. It's nice and big. The detailing wouldn't be so small, so you could believe that, you know, maybe the builder did this, but it wasn't terribly expensive. Look at that front porch. That's so cute. Oh, all right. Let's move on to our covered porch. And then we're going to fence in a backyard. Backyard space is going to be so important to this household. For this, we're going to turn away from base game, and we are going to go to a kit. Greenhouse Haven, to be exact, because they have these absolutely, let's see if I can get some better lighting. Ooh, maybe not here. They have these absolutely beautiful screened in windows that you can't see because the lighting is terrible, and I'm so sorry, but I'm going to be placing them anyway, and you can just imagine with me that you can see them great. So we are going to be putting these all over. This is going to be so important for the mosquitoes, but it will still let the breeze come through, which, my goodness, like I would need that if I was going to be sitting on my front porch or back porch with the kiddos doing things. Darrin's a computer guy, but you know, he does all of his work on the computer, but he still believes in sending kids outside. I think we'll put a little red column here maybe, and here, just to cover some of the blue, just to frame it in nicely. And that makes me want to take this siding and put it on the inside of this build too, because the outside of the house would, you know, that would be it. So this is definitely more defined as an outdoor space. I love this. Ooh, this roof color has got to change. Absolutely has to change. And I like this brown. You know, we're just an unassuming brown. I like the browns. I like the reds. I like the whites. I like the blues. It's much darker than I normally go for, but you know what? Everybody has different preferences, and towns like this, or like, oh no, he doesn't have a roof. No worries. I will fix that with a patio. So I'm going to take this. Can you be kind to me, please? I definitely want to give this place a roof, simply because, or both of these spaces a roof, because if I were to neglect that, it would be really difficult when it came to things like snow or cold or hot, that it wouldn't register, that it obeyed the same rules as like an indoor space. We will just pop you here. Lovely. Great. And look at that. Now there is a lovely ceiling. I know that I've made all of the other ceilings hate blue, which is, it's a tradition, but Darrin doesn't care for all that stuff. He's like, listen, just, whatever boards, baseboards would have been available and cheap, we'll put them up there. There's got to be something on the roof, so we'll put it on the roof. And that was gray. Ooh, that was gray for him. It also, I think, sort of lightens up the space for them to not just have so much blue. All right, so she is looking super cute right now. Let's put in our backyard, or fence in our yard. And I am going to be trying my best to maximize this outdoor area for them. So pretty much as wide or as much to the outlines as I am able to go, I'm going, because they need it. They absolutely need it. He has 3 children and so many things that he wants to do with them and provide for them. Darrin feels the need to provide them with a kind of childhood experience that he wanted. It's not that all of his childhood was bad, it just didn't feel very permanent. And he wants to give them all of the comforts of knowing that this is forever, that this is their family. And he's a dog owner, so now I don't think that he really felt like he was going to be a dog owner. Oh no, I forgot. Handrails, that's not very safe of me. So let's get the matching handrails up, shall we? Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I wonder if they maybe would have matched it to the wood tone back here. There's no curb appeal really. That he has to worry with in the backyard. So maybe he just would have, we'll leave it. We'll leave it. He had the extra paint. It was already bought. No reason not to paint those stairways. I'm going to go to growing together for our big piece in the outdoor backyard area. We're doing a tree house. Darrin is very excited to help his kids with their treehouse dreams. Luz and Malik were a little bit too young to do something like this before, but they're old enough now to help him. So he's excited to make this memory with them. Speaking of growing together, they need some bikes. So I think Malik is a sim that loves green. So I'm going to see if I can't get him a green bike. Oh, that's kind of cool. I'm oogling over these. I don't know about you guys. I was such a stressed out kid. It took me until I was 8 years old to learn how to ride a bike. All of my other friends knew, but I was so worried about falling all the time that I wouldn't push myself to do it. And finally, my mom convinced me to. She got me a bike and was like, well, I just spent all this money on a bike, so you learn to ride it. I wouldn't let my mom teach me because I was so afraid I was going to get dropped, or that as soon as she let go, I would fall. So I went out and I taught myself, and it took forever, but it's the way I had to do it. Luz is a kid that likes blues and pinks. So she likes that sort of pastel-y blue, pink, teal, that's kind of her color palette. So we've got those. I wish that they would give us little trikes. That would have been so cute for toddlers, but I understand why they didn't. That's a whole new animation for them. Bikes are up against the house. Let's see if we can't. Let's see. Please let me get you closer without popping up. Thank you. Wonderful. So they're leaned up against the house as they should be. I can't decide if I want a gate in or out. I probably do. Probably need a gate. Maybe this would do all right. I think so. I think that could be just fine. It's a little bit darker. See if I could see it in different lighting. That's much darker. But listen, Darrin has a great job. He's got a really good job, and it pays the bills, absolutely pays the bills. And he should be very proud of himself for that. He is very secure financially, but he doesn't have overly many simoleons. What he does have in excess, he puts into his kids, not into his house. So would it bother him if the wood that was used to make his backyard fencing didn't match exactly tone for tone? No. He's not going to pitch a fit about it. He just needs a functional gate, and so there it is. And let's see, let's put in some more backyard items. All right, let's get to getting these things out. I've pulled out some items that I think would make a great backyard for these kids. I think this swing set is a must. I do love these little jungle gym, like the monkey bars. It's gonna cause a problem though with our gate. Maybe we should put it on this back wall here, or like the back fence here. I don't think. Oh, that is gonna interfere. We'll just it'll be fine. It'll still be functional here. And maybe this explains why it doesn't match super well. It's at the back. Nobody knows, nobody cares. And this way the street doesn't have access to his backyard. We've got a nice little wading pool for Jaden. All of the siblings use this little wading pool. And we've got a cute little like toddler slide area. I think we'll go this way instead. I like that. And it's not going to interfere with the functionality of that tree house, so we should be good. I do want a little seat out here. I was trying to see if I could get like a little, maybe this should move over here. I think so, yes. I was trying to see if I could get one of the little play tents out here, but I just, it's so tight a fit. I don't think that that's gonna work. This is not a small backyard, but he just has so much he wants to do with it. All the kids, they're starting to outgrow this home, which is, that's interesting. I think that they're going to be in a transitional spot. Now, let's get some kind of rockage back here. By the way, Luz wants to be able to have all of her friends over. She is a social sim. Like I said, she's a little bit of a sim pleaser. And, that's not an inherently bad thing. Her dad does worry about her getting taken advantage of or getting sort of taken in by the wrong sims, hanging out with folks that, want to use her really trusting ways against her. But, that's what he's here for. But in any way, at her age, we'll call her 10, 11 maybe. She is going to be, it's one of her goals to have these sleepovers. So Dad wants to be the friend's house. He wants to be the house that everybody feels comfortable being in, so that he can make those memories with his babies. I could imagine him having like an apron on and bringing out cookies for all the kids and being like, listen, you don't have to hang out with your old dad. I understand you're with your friends, but like if you want s'mores, we have some, or if you want cookies, we got some. I made brownies, just saying. I tried my best to get like the little campers kit stuff out. There's just not enough space. He's gonna have to get a bigger house or a smaller house, and I don't see that happening. But yeah, okay, I think that this is shaping up pretty nicely. I can start to do some landscaping, but again, this is a busy person. I don't think that he's gonna be super into landscaping. To be honest, I just don't think that it fits with what he needs from his house. I don't think that he would have put in terribly much. Perhaps a couple of low-lying bushes, plants, something like he doesn't dedicate any of his time to upkeeping. He might pull some weeds every once in a while. That's about it. And can I call out that Darrin is so grateful for Mama Laveau. Mama Laveau is somebody that he goes to all the time for advice on his children. He knows that she's raised a couple of daughters of her own. He knows that she's very community minded. So he loves, this is kind of cute. He loves that he lives in the same neighborhood, just a few doors down from Mama. Mama and he are some of my favorite sims in this file. I don't like those. Yeah, we'll put some big old bushes around this way. See if we can't. Yeah, that works. See if we can't get everything nice and placed. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not gonna be perfect. Get some nice white bushes, like different mums maybe that grow. I think these are mums. Maybe they're hydrangeas. I don't know. I'm just making up words and seeing if they sound good. Get a couple more bushes, kind of put them around everywhere. We're just going to see where the placement takes us. This isn't super manicured. He doesn't super care. So it's going to look a little bit like where the wild things are. Oh my gosh, I was placing these bushes and forgot that they need to accept mail. Maybe here? Yeah, sure. That shouldn't get obstructed too awful bad, right? No, that'll be functional. Now he's got these kinds of bushes, but bigger out. Like if I made these, oh, that is exactly those same bushes. Ooh, okay. Can we get rid of you and put you in its place? Oh my gosh, that looks convincing. Oh, I did a thing. I discovered a thing. You guys, let's do some little wildflowers. We certainly can. Oh, these are pretty. This is looking a lot more manicured than I imagined. But you know what? We love it. This area is nice because it doesn't have to be functional. Like we don't need to have this accessible. So I can sort of free place things and not have to worry about the impact to you guys' games really. So I'm taking advantage of it. I'm loving it. But if it starts to not function well, you can always delete stuff. Wonderful. Like I said, nothing super manicured, nothing super intentional. In the backyard, I just don't, excuse me. Oh my gosh, it's so much tree. I just don't think that between the dog using the bathroom in the backyard and running around with the kids and all of the playground equipment, I don't think that any foliage would really survive. And that's okay because that's not its primary job. What I do want to put though is these cute little wildflowers. Let's see if we can't do like patches of them here, there, and it. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a whole lot. That's better. But like, we'll give little patches. He planted something, maybe they're like little creeping flowers everywhere. And in some patches, they grow more than others. Lovely, perfect, nothing too big. This, kind of put it around here. Awesome. Oh, you guys, this is looking really sweet. I'm gonna see, oh, okay, perfect, in the morning light. Now I'm gonna get some evening light up here. Yes, okay, perfect. That's exactly what I want because we're gonna do some outdoor lighting. I would imagine that when the air is cooler, they spend actually a lot of time outside. These are so dim. I really struggle with that. Like I want there to be more lighting. Let's see if I can't. Oh, I don't guess these are super dim. I think that does put in kind of the right amount of lighting for out here. I think we'll put this one right out here. We want to make sure that that stoop is well lit in case somebody needs to go down those stairs. And oh, this actually reminds me I need a better door. And I know just the one that I'm going to use. Where is that laundry day door? Ah, here she is. I don't get like colors in the theme that I want, but I do get a nice rich brown and I do want to include that. So we've got the little pull downy thingy. You know what I'm talking, this thing, on the outside, or should that maybe go on the inside? I don't know, because from the inside, you'd probably want to pull down the shades if you didn't want that. So yeah, we'll leave it there. I'll give one more outdoor light here. I think that's going to be pretty cool. We can do like little tea lights. Oh, that's going to be so pretty for outside. Oh, these little star ones are so cute. I wonder if I can get them even around the screened in windows. I think I can. I'm gonna try this. I can. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so well lit. Oh, I love this. And nice and whimsical. I think this was probably, I don't know if it was Malik or Luz that asked. I don't know how long he's had this back porch. I think this was probably something that happened after Malik moved in. Oh, that's so cute, you guys. Oh, I like it so much. Okay, last touch for now that I think I'm going to put out is a little outdoor dog area. I think that Darrin, he likes whatever you guys name the dog. The dog is allowed inside because Luz wants him inside. And the other kids do too, obviously. So he's sort of learning. He's learning what he prefers for this and how, maybe his boundaries are being stretched a little bit. But he's always thought of dogs as like an outside animal, like animals belong outside unless it's a cat, maybe. He's figuring things out. And at this point, the dog's bed is outside. The dog's food is outside. So the dog eats outside. But I think Luz and Malik have worked on him enough that he's softening. Like, he sees the great things that this dog does for his children, and he just is so grateful to him. So, the food is going to stay outside because the food can get a little bit messy. That bed, he's like, okay, look, the dog can be inside. That's fine. All of his accessories are blue because Luce likes blue. And his little collar's even blue. So if you're like, wow, this is a lot of blue, it's because of Luce. This is officially Luce's dog. So he has like a little outdoor area, lounge area for the dog. But the dog is allowed inside because. Oh yeah, I think I like this. I don't know. That sort of breaks the functionality of that doorway. Nope, we're going to have to do it where we had it before. And we'll just put the food right next to there. Lovely. Here is going to be I was going to say outdoor seating, but I don't think so. I think instead what I'm going to do is pull out this growing together table in a nice green because Malik likes green. And this is an activity where they can do something called symbols, which would be like dominoes, or they can do puzzles, and I think that he would absolutely puzzle it out with his kids or show them dominoes, stuff like that. We've got some nice patio chairs, so they can come over with their friends, they can sit out with him, whatever's easiest for them. However that happens, I would imagine that they sit out here all the time and play. This is my favorite dollhouse in game right now, so I think what I'll do is size her down because it still will function if it's sized down, and pop it in the corner here. I think that this is a cute thing to be able to have the kids. I like that it's cardboard and homemade. I think that this is probably a project that he did either for or with his kids. I like to think probably with, that they would be able to play with outside. And I think we're setting up some backyard tunes to be able to listen to. I think that this is, this is a place for the kids. This whole house, Darrin has the whole purpose of having this place is the kids. So originally I had Darrin with a teen girl, like a rebellious teen girl. And I know that Darrin wants to adopt teens because I think he has a really soft heart for the amount of teens that he saw just not getting homes. He absolutely was on board with the fact that the younger kids needed to be placed as well, but so did he as he grew. I do think that where Darrin is, and every place has their own sort of philosophies and their own kind of pearls of wisdom that they look for. I think that the attitude where Darrin is that there needs to be a certain age gap between the caregiver and the adoptive parent or the foster parent. And, Darrin's only in his early 30s. So that would make placing a teen with him maybe challenging. He just hasn't aged into that, but Darrin knows that he's going to be adopting teens later. So he's gearing his house and his life to be able to do that, like pretty much as soon as he hits 40. He knows that, that there'll be enough of an age gap. So in just a few years, he's also open to babies and infants, but that's just not who's been placed with him. And as far as how, because I know that there'll be a natural question as to like, wait, if all of these kids are related, how did they come to be placed with Darrin at different times in their lives? Their mom, we don't really know her story. You guys can definitely, if you have one, pop it down in the comments. But for some reason, she wasn't able to keep kids. Maybe she was trying at different points in her life, but just wasn't able to financially dependably provide for them. And rather than separate all the kids, they asked Darrin, who had Luz, anytime a sibling of Luz's need to be placed, if he would take on her sibling. And Darrin, of course, said yes, he wants to keep families together. He saw that large families, sibling groups in particular, but especially very large families, have a very hard time getting placed together. Sometimes they'll be placed within areas where they can go and visit one another, and typically the adoptive or foster parents are very supportive of that, but it's still hard to live separately from your siblings. So Darrin, I think, had these ideas going in to wanting to foster, and it ended up differently than he thought, but he still got to be this dad. And again, he's not a guy that wants to wait for Mrs. Right in order for that to happen. He was able to see that maybe through some of his own foster experiences that really everybody in the family should be on board with this process. And if they're not, that could impact children and maybe would affect whether kids could even be placed with you if the state adoption agency knows that not everybody is above board with this. And he just didn't want to take the risk that a person that, let's do this one instead, that a person that he could fall in love with could threaten his ability to foster, because he knows, I don't think that he's opposed to having a partner. I don't think he's opposed to having his own natural born children. I think that he knows that if he got swept up in, the pace of life, getting married, having children, that either the children that he fathered wouldn't be open to it, wouldn't be comfortable with it. And then why would you put a child in that position? Maybe they would, but he just didn't know. Or that his spouse or partner wouldn't be as open to it. And I don't think that he could handle that possibility. So he was like, listen, if it happens, that's fine. But I know for sure that I'm adopting children, so I'm going to do that. And then if the right woman comes along, so be it. I won't fight it as long as she's good for my children and she's totally on board with this and she needs to be open to having more kids. Or adopting more kids specifically. And I think it's worked, because any woman that hasn't been on board with that, as you can see, isn't here. Darrin has prioritized things that in a way that work for him, and good for him for doing that. Does he get lonely? I think so. But if he's lonely, he just goes and he plays with his kids and he's happy about it. He doesn't feel, I think, a pressure or a need to partner. So he does have to deal with questions, almost certainly, about like, well, you're a single guy and you're interested in adopting children. Isn't that creepy? And I think it really irks him hard that, like, why would you discourage a qualified parent? Like, I can't just show up and say I want a kid and give it to me. I had to pass all sorts. I had to take classes. I had to pass reviews. I had to have home inspections done. I had to go through all of these things. So why would you discourage a qualified foster or a prospective adoptive parent from taking children home when this is such a need? And if you don't think I'm qualified, how many kids are you going to adopt? Oh, none? Okay, then. Like, my gender has nothing to do with how appropriate it is that I would like to be a parent. So yeah, I think that he's probably was uncomfortable before, but is more comfortable now telling you where to go and how to get there when it comes to you questioning his fitness as a parent, because this man has documentation that he is qualified. Thank you. And on that note, I think that Mama Laveau was an outstanding resource for him. I think that anytime he has questions, because he really doesn't have family like that he can go to, Mama Laveau is there to answer them. And he's so grateful. He's so grateful she babysits for him. I think that she is not shy with her advice when it's asked for, because mamas raise girls, and it's really none of your business at the end of the day if nobody asks you. Like, we do not like unsolicited advice, but if you ask her advice, she will give it to you straight. So I think that he really appreciates that quite a bit. Alrighty, oh my gosh, all the windows are in. The outside is done, you guys. We have a backyard. Let's get these guys moved in and using their facilities. Well, guys, it is a snowy and kind of overcast day, but as you guys can see, we've got some dog training going on. We've got some monkey bar usage happening. And, everyone is just enjoying the backyard out here. I can't wait to do this with you again next week, where we are going in to do the great room, the kitchen, living, and dining room area. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, hit that like and subscribe button if you liked what you see. And I will see you next week with the Richards.